So today I'm going to talk about some of the seller issues that we see out there, something that's going to become a little bit more prevalent probably at the beginning of 2013, as we typically see first and second quarter of every year. Competition starts to get pretty stiff amongst home sellers. Now, right now, last several years, we haven't really seen that trend come to fruition for the simple fact that our inventory numbers have been very low. But if we look at this next year, because of the exceedingly low inventory we've been suffering from as far as buyers are concerned in the world, there's been little competition amongst sellers. So most of the sellers, at least up until this point, haven't had to do a lot of changes or repairs or modifications to their residences in order to get them sold quickly for top dollar and with very little in the way of concessions. Concessions meaning closing costs or other items, as if the buyer looking to get requests for repairs, these sorts of things. We haven't seen a lot of that happening, but it is starting to pick up. So right now, as we are in pretty much the middle of October of 2022, we're watching as the market has shifted and the properties that are now for sale are a lot more negotiable with regard to the seller offering closing costs, particular discounts, and being a little bit open-minded when the buyers are asking for requests for repairs. As we get into a new year, if you're a potential home seller, potentially, there's potential, love that word there because it's springy, with the potential of there being competition, that's something that it's important, that's going to be important for you to explore with your real estate agent. And there's also another meaning to competition that I'll talk to you about as well here in just a moment. But the on-surface competition has to do with other properties that are competing with yours. Typically same builder, same neighborhood, same development is what we're concerned with, and then proximity to different things. If you are close to a Blue Ribbon Elementary School, for example, that's going to add value to your home. If you're close to a park but not too close, and in both cases the school and the park, again, it's going to add value to your home. If you're on a main street, probably detract. If you're next to or underneath high frequency power lines, probably detract. But it also depends on the market. But you have to gauge these things very carefully, and you have to look at condition also of the competition. So if your house hasn't been touched in the last 30 years and the competition was updated a few years ago and the entire bathrooms have been redone, kitchens been redone, flooring, paint, the exterior's been taken care of, HVAC system either new or switched out or updated, those sorts of things buyers are going to look at. And when they look at your home being on the market and they look at the competition that happens to be in better shape, potentially same price point, well, the decision is going to be easy for them. So the job of your realtor is going to be, when I'm looking at the competition, I'm making sure that you are either not even in the way of comparison, we're talking apples and oranges, or if you're apples to apples, we want to make sure and figure out if we're going to do an adjustment on our price point so you don't have to do those repairs, or if putting the money into your property is going to equate to you doing better than breaking even with the cost that you're going to invest to get your house sold. There are other things that we can do as well. There's bridge loans, there's different things to get the properties put together. It depends on if you're buying or not, but those are things to consider. Now, the other competition, the one that a lot of people don't talk about. This is odd. Well, not odd. It's part of the process. If you're a home seller here in Santa Clarita Valley and you have an agent and your agent lists the house, let's talk about yours truly, for example. I have a policy. If you list your house with me, if another house that's very similar to yours that would create competition with yours contacts me and says, hey, Connor with Honor, I want you to list my residence, I will decline that listing. That's it. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh my gosh. Well, that's the way it is. I don't need to compete against myself with regard to a listing. If I have something a few streets over that's maybe a 2-bedroom versus a 3, or maybe a 4-bedroom versus a 3, that's not the same competitive model. But if I have the exact same model match, a Plan 3 in your development, and yours happens to be a Plan 3, and everything else is very, very similar, I'm not going to expose you to that competition, because what's going to end up happening, which it always does, is now you are battling against the other seller because you have the same agent, and that agent has a very difficult time playing bipolar. They're going to be pretty much one way, and it becomes difficult because let's say the other seller wants to reduce their property $50,000 to get it sold. You're kind of in a pickle. Now, of course, that can happen with another agent as well, but there's always that little voice in the back of your head, and it says something like, gosh, I wonder if he's working against me or for me. So let's not even go there. And as my word, and I always put this in writing for my sellers, I don't like to have that competitive model with regard to other listings when I have your home listed for sale and before it's in escrow. That's it. I'm Connor with Honor. That's a little bit about competition. In the seller's world, we'll have a buyer video series that I put together as well. Lots of things that I do when I'm walking through the house with a residential buyer, things I look at, things I pay attention to, things I convey to them, which is everything. It's all about being full disclosure and having those buyers prepared to move into the purchase aspect of the residence if in fact they're ready to, getting as many answers answered as possible before they start putting pen to paper and start spending money. Point of sale type purchases, home inspection, appraisal, termite, those sorts of things prior to even closing the transaction. And those fees can be nominal. Well, not nominal. They can be pretty expensive, $1,500, $1,600, $1,700 all in. And you're not going to get that back if you happen to find something out wrong with the resident. So it's good going in with an expert, good having me look at everything. So we have an idea, at least up to a point, whether the systems look good, the house looks like it's well constructed, it hasn't been neglected in any way, and there's things that you're not going to start looking at yourself when the home inspector gets out there and says, oh my gosh, I should have noticed this, I should have noticed that. I wouldn't have even moved forward if we would have seen these things. So I try to circumvent that, cut it off at the pass, get you in there and get you happy. I'm here, I am Connor with Honor, and don't forget, I represent people in the acquisition, investment, and liquidation of all real property. We'll talk to you very soon. Thanks for watching. Be safe. God bless.